Hello everyone, welcome to You Can Automate. In this session, we are going to learn about Pycharm, why we use a Pycharm and how to use it, and what are different settings we need to do in a Pycharm. And we'll also learn about virtual environment, what is virtual environment, why we use that, and how virtual environment can be used in our Appium automation. So let's begin. The first thing is the Pycharm editor. Pycharm editor is just like any other editor like IntelliJ, Eclipse. So this particular PyCharm editor is basically famous for basically famous for Python coding. So we can use the same PyCharm editor for our APM automation also. So this is the URL which we have given, and you can directly go to this URL and start downloading the PyCharm. Once you go to this PyCharm website, and there are two sections. One is PyCharm paid edition, another one is a community edition. So community edition is free. You can just go and download this one. So I've already downloaded this, so I'm not going to download. Just you download this .dmg file and install the PyCharm editor, right? Once you install the PyCharm editor, and this is how it looks like. When you open the PyCharm and it asks for new script, new project, or what you want to open the existing project, and all the options will be given. So click on the new project, and here it is asking the path of the project where you want to create. So here I have this particular path in my system, so that I'll just change the path here. Here you can provide the project name. I'm saying that APM UI catalog test. So UI catalog is the application which I'm providing, and APM test I want to call this particular project as. So now I'll just click on create. So as soon as I create a fresh project, and this is how it looks like, and it is saying that the folder name whatever I have provided, it is creating some file folder called .pyenv. That we'll talk about more. So now we are done with the PyCharm installation, and we have created the project also. Now we need to create a virtual environment. So before creating virtual environment, we need to see what is the importance of virtual environment and why we are using the virtual environment in our automation. We use a virtual environment in Python to create isolated workspace for project. That means that if you are working on a multiple projects, and one of the project needs a Python version 9, and another project needs a Python version 3.15 or some other version also, where you can install the specific dependencies without affecting other projects. Where you have a multiple projects and each project needs a different requirement of the Python. So to isolate all the projects and to have a specific environment for a specific project, we use a Python virtual environment. So that means that you can add your own Python version and you can use it in your project. So now we have understood what is virtual environment and why we require that. In our automation also, we are going to use the virtual environment because we want to keep our APM automation separate and isolated. In case if you are working on other projects also, this will not be affected. This is a real-time scenario which happens when in the project, in the official projects, when you're working on a Python, each project need a different Python version. So isolate that by using a virtual environment. Right now we have understood what is virtual environment. Now we can go ahead and create the virtual environment. So how do I create? By using this particular command. So this is a Python, and here left hand side it is showing a terminal, right, in the bottom. Just click on the terminal, and here you are landing on the terminal. I'm just clearing it here, right. So what I will do is I'll just copy the command which we have in that slide, python -m and the virtual environment name. That means that use the Python language, and this is a command to create the virtual environment -m, and here I need to provide the virtual environment name. Here I'm providing it as a pyenv-3.10. You can provide anything, but it is better to name it with the Python version. So I'm hitting enter. So here first it should create the virtual environment with this particular name. If you see here, the new folder got created with the virtual environment 3.10, right. Now what is the next step? We need to activate the virtual environment whatever we have created. First we have created the virtual environment, and we need to activate it also. So I have executed this command. That means that go to this virtual environment, go inside bin and activate this virtual environment. So if you see here, pyenv-3.10 is coming. Before it was showing some other things. Now it got switched to virtual environment 3.10. So now we have activated it, and the next step is update the Pycharm editor to point to virtual environment. So whatever we have done is it is on the command prompt, that means in the terminal. Now if you see here, Python 3.10 it is showing. Whatever the virtual environment which we have created is not reflecting here. So this is our editor. If you see a right bottom corner, here we can go and do the interpreter settings, because whatever the commands, whatever the code which we execute in a Python, this will go via interpreter. So that's why we need to point this interpreter also to this virtual environment what we have created, right? What I'm going to do, I'll just click on add new interpreter, click on add local interpreter, right? And here it is giving two options. One is generate new or existing. We already have created the virtual environment, so we can point it to the same virtual environment which we have it. So what is the virtual environment which we have created? That is pyenv-3.10. So we need to find a path for that 3.10 virtual environment which we have created. Just click on this folder path and go to your location. Say whatever the location which you have created this particular folder, go to that location, and inside this vnv-3.10, inside the bin, here you need to select Python. So this is where the Python should be pointing to. All the libraries and whatever the Python code which we are executing will be executed from this interpreter. Just click on OK, so that your virtual environment is now pointing to the new one which you have created. You need to make sure that the folder name is appearing correctly here. Now click on OK. So now there is a match between the virtual environment which is created in the terminal and which is showing at the Pycharm editor level. Now we have done the Pycharm editor setup, and we have also created the virtual environment. Now we need to look for requirement.txt. So what is that requirement.txt? If you have worked on the Selenium project or any of the web project or any of the other projects, there will be something called dependencies. Why we added dependencies is, for example, all the libraries whatever we required for entire automation, we'll club it in and put it in a one file. If you are considering a Java, we'll put it in a pom, and if you are considering JavaScript, you'll put it in a package.json. So similarly for Python also, there is something called requirement.txt. That means that all the libraries whatever we need it, that we'll put it under one file, and we keep it and we execute whenever we want it. So how it will be useful is, say for example, you are giving this particular project to someone else, and someone else also using this project, and if they want to do a setup again, so they no need to install all the libraries one by one. So they'll be installing all the libraries at one shot. So this requirement.txt will help us. So let's go ahead and create the requirement.txt. So I'm going to my Pycharm editor again. So here I'll be creating one file called requirement.txt. So here, as of now, I need to add two libraries. One is a Appium Python client, another one is a Selenium. And here I can mention the specific version. So here I'm looking for a specific latest version which we have in the market, that is 5.1.1, and after that I'll be looking for Selenium version also. Why I need a Selenium is, now whatever the Appium build is on top of the Selenium. So to execute some of the Appium scripts, we need some of the libraries from Selenium also. Now I have added just libraries in this file, but I need to install it in this current interpreter, so that when I'm writing the test case, I'll be using these two libraries. So how do I install? Pip install -r requirement.txt. So hit enter, and it is going to install these two libraries successfully in this virtual environment. So if you see here, both the libraries got installed at a one shot. So going forward also, whatever the libraries which you will be requiring in your project, you can just come here and add it in this file, so that all the libraries can be installed at one shot, and it is easily portable also, right? So this is about Pycharm, how to install the Pycharm, how to do a setup, and how to set up the interpreter, how to create the virtual environment, and how to point the interpreter to a created virtual environment, and how to add the libraries into requirement txt and how to install those also. So try these steps and do let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.